I was about enjoying this season and enjoying the experiences and learning and things and moving on. And the truth of it is, I don't think we've really enjoyed the last 2 or 3 weeks because for whatever reason we're not playing right to the edge that we can play to. I actually think that was probably quite a nice game of rugby out there for Saracens today. As you say, the positives, making a lot of line breaks, but we've been doing that for weeks. That absolute desperation to finish things off, that absolute desperation to kick chase, to make sure you clear a ruck, to make sure we win a quick ball. We've just lost a tad of an edge, and that's what we've got to try and find back for our last 2 games because, as I say, we've almost been taught a lesson by a team who are cranking it up at this stage of the season to win big things, and we're almost looking a little bit like the end of the season's just a few weeks away, and we can kind of enjoy, hopefully, being in the Premiership next year. And the reality is, you can't really do that either as individual players or as a team. And so it's a little thing for us to address, but as you say, not everything that happened out there was the bad thing.
What are your thoughts about, forgive me for asking this, but what are your thoughts about Wednesday's hearing? What could happen? What do you think may happen? What difference would it make?
Whatever comment I make now is irrelevant really, because I can sit here and go, well, we're relatively confident that because of other things that have happened, there's a certain precedent set where it's only been relatively small amount of points, but at the same time, we've not been to the hearing yet, and there's no way of knowing. So any comment I make on what I think will happen is a little bit pointless. I mean, but all I can say is about the performance today is, I've simply got us. If in the future we want to be a different team, we have to be able to crank things up at this stage of the season and not wind down. So that's the lesson for us to be learning. I mean, we're in a unique position really. I think teams don't get promoted and then we run into the last 3 or 4 games feeling pretty safe. But not traditionally, it doesn't really work like that. And it almost feels like we've done our fighting. And what I wanted to make sure is that we get back and we have a bit more fight in it still. Yeah.
Don't you feel a bit jittery about Wednesday?
I'm
can't sleep too well.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously a bit nervous about it, and until Wednesday happens and we know what's happening, then obviously we're all a little bit on edge. But at the same time, I don't think you can use that as any other thing other than it probably should be motivation for us, if nothing else. So yeah, I mean, like I say, what happens on Wednesday will happen on Wednesday. We'll deal with the press for that on Thursday if you see what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know what the other scores were today, but mathematically, we still need a point to say if particularly quite kindly.
No, I mean, I think we're safe even if we have no points taken off. I think we're safe. So I mean, we're I'll let you say it, we're maybe in a little bit of limbo at the minute, and whether that's to do with us waiting to see what points get deducted, whether that's because, like I say, we feel that we're going okay and we've won enough points and we'll get some points along the road. I don't know, but it's a little bit of a dangerous situation for us to be in, and we've kind of got to just kind of work our way through it.
You mentioned, Rob, about a slight lack of a fight today. Is that a physical thing or a mental thing?
I wouldn't call it a lack of fight. You look at the guys out there, and we tackled hard, we ran hard. We worked hard. It's just there's sometimes in rugby that inescapable little edge that you can see makes a difference between a really, really good performance and one that's a little bit off par. And I think we were off par today. Our job as a coaching staff is to find out why we're a little bit off key and try and deal with it. But we'll come through whatever it is as a team, stronger. If you learn from every experience, like I say, we've been taught a bit of a lesson by a good side at home here today who are cranking up to win things. And if we want to pertain to being that kind of a team in the future, then we have to learn to crank things up at this stage of the season as well.
Can't help but think as well, it's maybe a sign of how far the Chiefs have come that coming up against a very good Sarri side, there's a slight air of disappointment to not getting something out of it. The start of the season.
I think probably the disappointment is I think we've taken at least a point from every home game this season, and so we do expect big performances at home, and we expect to be in the mix at the end of the game. And I think probably the disappointment is that we're not in the mix at the end of the game. We probably didn't deserve to be in the mix at the end of the game. And we've got to take the day's result on the chin and move forward. And that's just what you have to do as sport.
Love it. Cheers, Rob.